Hello, and welcome to Being a Feelings Coach. This webinar is on how you can help your children handle their big emotions. We are Monica, Kim, and Afshan, and we are psychologists with the Toronto District School Board. This is part 2 of a 2-part series. In this part, we discuss the steps to emotion coaching. Before we provide that information, we will do a review of what we discussed in part 1. We'll discuss a scenario and consider how you might want to respond. We will talk about common parent responses and give you some examples. And then we will go into the steps of emotion coaching and provide examples of the steps. And finally, we will talk about some feedback from the children and what they thought of their experiences. In part 1, which was our introduction to this webinar series, we talked about the science of the brain and how our emotions lie in our downstairs brain and need support from our upstairs brain to process and manage our reactions. But because our upstairs brains are still developing when we're younger, we need support from our parents and adults with this process. That's where emotion coaching fits in, where parents help their children process their emotions by attending to them and showing them empathy. Using this type of parenting technique has been shown to have many benefits. Before we get to the steps of emotion coaching, let's consider how we would typically handle our child's emotions. Here's a scenario. Take some time to consider what you would do in this situation. Your child is complaining to you about not being able to enjoy the summer due to social restrictions. What would you do?
Afshan asked, what would you do if your child was complaining about social restrictions? Let's take a look at some common ways parents respond, which would not be considered emotion coaching. Keep in mind that most people end up responding this way some of the time, so don't be too hard on yourself. The first response is ignoring. Parents might ignore what the child is saying. They might be busy doing something else and miss the opportunity to talk. Another common response is minimizing. We might tell the child the problem is not as big as they think. For example, stop making such a big deal out of this. Let's see what minimizing looks like in action.
Emma, you don't look so happy. You can look like you're kind of pouting a bit. What's going on?
It's supposed to be a break because it's summer and we're supposed to have fun.
It's supposed to be a break and we're supposed to have fun this summer?
Yeah.
And you don't think we're going to have fun?
Because it's corona.
Because it's coronavirus. You think we're not going to have fun?
Yeah.
What do you mean? How come you think we're not going to have fun?
Because we can't go to play places and have play dates.
We can't go to play places. We can't have play dates. But you know what, Emma? You know, it's not really a big deal because we still have summertime. It's still nice outside, and there's still a lot of things we can do. And you're a big kid now, right?
And I'm just 5.
Well, you're still old enough. You can handle it.
Then there is taking over. Taking over involves solving the problem for the child. Parents end up doing most of the reflection and talking. Then there is judging, which refers to telling children what they did well or what they did badly, instead of giving them space to express themselves. Parents may also respond with sympathy, which involves expressing your own feelings instead of taking the child's perspective. A parent might say, "This is sad, I feel so bad for you." And the focus is on the parent's emotional response rather than the child's. Next, there is lecturing. Parents may begin lecturing the child on what things were like back when we were children. We might start warning them that their behavior will get them into trouble later on. Take a look at what lecturing or warning looks like in action.
What's wrong, Galit?
The same things of before and before. I miss Diana and I wanna go to Unicamp.
You miss Deanna and you want to go to Unicamp. Well, Galit, I don't like that attitude because you're talking about the things that you're going to miss, but there's a lot of things that are going to go well in the summer. There's a lot of things we can do.
Yeah, but those things are those things I really, really want to do because we were planning to play there with Diana, but we couldn't have it because of the coronavirus.
Well, you know what, Galit? An attitude like that is not going to help you as you get older. If you think about the negative things, then it's not going to help you when you grow up. You have to learn to see and be grateful for the things we have. Like we have Max, we can take him out for walks, we can play outside. You have your brother and sister that you can play with.
Lecturing is one of the common ways parents respond to kids' feelings. Our intention is not to make you feel bad about responding in these ways. We just want you to develop an awareness of how these common responses differ from an empathic, emotion coach response.
Okay, so far we've discussed some common ways in which caregivers may react to their children's big emotions. They are different from emotion coaching. Let's now turn to discussing the steps to emotion coaching. These steps were fine-tuned by the creators of emotion-focused family therapy, Dr. LaFrance and her collaborators. The first step is name or label the emotion that the child is experiencing. The second step is validate the emotion. Third, meet the emotional need. And the last step is meet the practical need. I'm going to talk about these steps in more detail, and you'll have a chance to watch Kim demonstrate these steps with children. Before we label the child's emotion, it helps to tune into your child's feelings as well as your own feelings that may be triggered by the children's behavior or emotions. Try to see what is going on for yourself too internally and not just for the child. Sometimes it helps to take a deep breath and gain some composure before you respond or we respond. This is a time when we want to land our child or calm rather than join their chaos, as L.R. Nost said. So let's talk about the first step. Notice and name the emotion. So based on your observations or assumptions, that's just simply saying you look and then you insert the emotion word here. You look sad, or you look frightened or anxious. For older children, assist the child in verbally labeling their emotion. Now, why is it important to notice and name the emotion, you might ask? For a variety of reasons, and they're all important. So, name it to tame it is one of the reasons. Strong emotions are generated in the lower part of the brain, as Afshan indicated, which is less sophisticated. Once we name the emotion, we're activating higher levels of the brain, which has a soothing effect. We take some of the heat off this fire, or we take out some of the heat of this fire. Children learn to identify the emotion they feel. They learn to trust their feelings, trust their inner voice, which is a really huge accomplishment. They learn to put their emotions into words and develop an emotion vocabulary. Let's watch the noticing and naming of emotions in action.
Well, I like to see my friends and stuff, and we can't do that because of COVID-19.
Yeah, it's true, Paul. Yeah, we can't do some of the things that we could do before this summer. You seem really sad about it. Yeah.
Let's review the next step, validate the emotion. During this step, you would put yourself in your child's shoes. By validating the emotion, you are essentially saying that you get their point of view. You will need to be okay with your child's negative emotions, which does not mean that you're agreeing with their emotion or behavior. In order to validate, you would be saying things like, "No wonder you feel," and name the emotion that the child may be feeling. At this point in time, we may be tempted to say, "It makes sense that you are sad, but what is it to be sad about?" Now, is that conveying empathy? Not as much. So try using because instead of but. Of course you're sad because, or it makes sense that you're sad because, and then mention reasons why your child might be upset. If you can, it helps to use because more than once as it allows you to go deeper. Let's watch an example of how to validate emotion.
I used to get signed up in the summer all the time for soccer and sports and stuff.
Yeah.
And today we can't do that.
Yeah, I know you really like Matthew S. And you haven't seen him in ages, right?
Yeah.
And we can't sign up for soccer because it's probably not going to be running.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that you'd be feeling kind of sad and depressed.
Let's review the third step, meeting the emotional need. Some examples of emotional support that caregivers can provide include providing comfort, giving a hug, or using loving words, providing reassurance. It's going to be okay. Communicating that you understand what the child is going through. I understand you. I hear you. Communicating that you believe in the child. I believe in you. I believe you can do this. Communicating that you are in this together. I want the best for you too. Let's watch an example of how to meet the emotional need.
So, Polly, I'll be there for you, okay? And I'll be there to help you feel better when you're not feeling great.
Let's review the last step, meeting the practical need. If necessary, you could move on to problem solving by exploring solutions to problems together or offering solutions, suggesting an activity that will distract, such as going for a walk, watching a movie, listening to music, redirect the child to another thought or activity, or set limits, as it's the case with angry behavior. Let's watch an example of how to meet the practical need.
Maybe when you're ready, we could make a list of things that we can do or that you'd like to do. Maybe different things.
Okay.
Whenever you want, we could do that.
Yeah.
Each of the children participated in 3 videos. 1 video each for the minimizing response, 1 video each for the lecturing response, and 1 video each for the empathic response. They referred to the minimizing response as take 2, the lecturing response as take 3, and the empathic response as take 1. After their experiences, they were asked a series of questions to get their reaction to their experiences. Not all of their reactions are shown here, but we have provided you with a sample of reactions to the minimizing response, the lecturing response, and the empathic response. While you're watching their reactions, please consider the following questions. What did the children like? What did they not like? And how did they feel? Here's a reaction to the minimizing response that the children refer to as take 2.
And when in take 2, did you feel like I understood your feelings or not understood your feelings?
Not that much.
Not that much?
Yeah, because so the thing you were like it's not a big deal, but it's a big deal to me.
It's a big deal to you.
Yeah.
Because Deanna's really important to you.
Yeah.
Here's a reaction to the lecturing response that the children refer to as take 3.
Not like anything about
You didn't like anything about it?
Yeah.
How come?
because it is mean.
It felt mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel understood? No.
Here's the reaction to the empathic response that the children referred to as take one.
So, which was your favorite talk? Was it take one,
Take one.
take two, or take three?
Take one.
Which did you think was the best talk? Take one, take two, or take three?
Take one.
Can you say two things that you thought were good about the talk?
You were really nice, and you made me feel better.
Tell me what you liked that I did as a mommy.
Feeling sorry.
I felt sorry for
Yeah.
you? Yeah. What, did it feel kind or did it feel not kind?
Kind.
It felt kind? Did you think it was kind or unkind?
Kind.
Yeah. What did you think about the way I spoke with you? Was it helpful or not helpful?
Helpful.
Do you think that I understood your feelings? Yeah? Okay. Did you think I understood your feelings?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you feel like I understood your feelings?
Yeah.
Or I was trying to understand your feelings? And did you feel like your feelings were important to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
In summary, with the empathic response, the children felt heard and understood, felt it was a kinder way of dealing with the situation, felt the adult cared about the problem, and felt good overall. Thank you for viewing our webinar on being a feelings coach. We hope that this information will be useful to you in helping you manage your children's emotions. Thanks again.